Greetings to everyone. I'm Dr. Madhuri Goswami. Welcome back to this lesson. That's the third in the series of the lessons on punctuation in English. This lesson is prepared for the students of BA, BCom, BSc Part 1 in the subject General English. Dear students, in the previous two lessons, we have studied about the terminal punctuations, which are full stop, question mark, and the exclamation mark. In the second part of the lesson, we knew about comma. Comma is one of the pause punctuations. Now let's quickly revise what are terminal punctuations. Terminal punctuations are those punctuation symbols or signs which are used to end a sentence. That means they are used at the end of a sentence, whether it's a full stop, it's a question mark, or it's the exclamation mark. We have studied all these symbols with examples in the part 1 of this lesson. If you want to revise, then watch that video. The link of that video is given in the description box of this video. Now let's continue from the previous lesson where we stopped. We learned the basic use of commas in English. But there are some other uses of commas which are also very important to avoid mistakes. It's important to know about those uses to be able to write quite clearly and effectively. In this lesson, we will study those other uses of comma as it's a pause punctuation. What do we mean by pause punctuation? When we want to pause for a brief time, for a very short time, then we use comma and other pause punctuations like colon and semicolon. Now let's move further and just check what is the rule for applying or putting a comma in the sentences that have a special kind of subordinate clauses, the relative clause or the adjective clause. Now first understand what is a relative clause. A relative clause is introduced by a relative pronoun who, which, whom, that, or a relative adverb like where, when, or why. There are two types of relative clauses: defining or essential clauses, or non-defining or non-essential clauses. It's better to take up an example to understand it clearly. Now look at the example. That lady is the doctor who saved my life. In this sentence, who saved my life is the relative clause. If we remove it, what happens? That lady is what doctor? The meaning is not complete. This relative clause is essential to give the complete information. That's why it's called the essential relative clause. Essential means here it's very important and it cannot be removed. Did you notice there is no comma in this sentence? Because we don't use the comma with the essential relative clauses. But when it's case of the non-essential relative clauses, we use the comma. She lives in New York, which she likes. Here in this sentence, which she likes is the relative clause and it's not essential. If we remove it, even after that, the meaning is clear and it's just an additional information. So, when the relative clause is giving an extra information, it's non-defining relative clause, it's non-essential relative clause, we use comma with this. Let's take up one more example. In that sentence, we have this relative clause in the middle of the sentence. For example, his wife, who lives in Delhi, is a wildlife photographer. In this sentence, who lives in Delhi is a non-essential relative clause. So we will use commas. We will use two commas. First at the beginning of that relative clause and second where this relative clause ends. So his wife, comma, who lives in Delhi, comma, is a wildlife photographer. Dear students, if we don't use comma in the same sentence, the meaning of this sentence would change. Wanna know how? Okay, If we don't use comma in this sentence, that means the person has more than one wife and we are talking of the wife who lives in Delhi. The incorrect use of comma here might get that person into trouble. So be cautious while using commas in such sentences. So in brief, we can say we should use two commas in the middle of a sentence to separate out information that's not essential to sentence's meaning but only provides extra details. We should use comma when we start a sentence with a word or phrase that introduces it. For example, yesterday afternoon, I went to the mall to buy a dress for me. So, when you use an adverb or linking phrase at the start of a sentence, we use a comma after it. As in the example that has been just given, yesterday afternoon is the adverb and we put a comma after it. Eventually, this led to the finalization of the things. Notice the use of comma after the word eventually. And finally, we use commas when we simply need a pause in a sentence. For example, well, I don't like dances, but I guess I will go to the party. Now let's take up the next pause punctuation mark. That's semicolon. This mark is used to combine closely related sentences. Now, what are these closely related sentences? Let's understand it with an example. Do you see some connection between these two sentences? You may question that we can use full stop or a period instead of semicolon here, as semicolons are the most similar to a full stop, as they are used at the end of a full sentence. So, what's the difference? The answer to this question will also answer your doubt. Using the semicolon shows that your ideas before and after the semicolon, they are connected. He is so stubborn. It's impossible to convince him. Do you see a connection between these two sentences? Yes, as they are both talking about the same idea, him and his stubborn character. So, the use of the semicolon. The semicolon is also used between independent clauses, but in that case, coordinating conjunctions are to be omitted. For example, I have finished the main course. Now I wish to have the dessert. Here, the use of the semicolon between the two independent clauses helps to join these two sentences and shows the relationship between them. So, the use of the semicolon emphasizes that the ideas are connected. Though it's not used too much, but its use will help you to write clearly and efficiently. Now let's take up the last punctuation mark in this category of pause punctuation. That's colon. The colon is used to introduce words, lists, names, and phrases after an independent clause. So, colons have one main job. They introduce examples, explanations, or details. Let's have a look on this example. Whenever you drive, you must follow these rules. Wear your seat belt, obey traffic rules, and keep your eyes on the road. The colon can be used for the sentences as well, sentences which give some information. For example, all the three children are involved in art. Priya is a dancer, Suniti is a singer, and Meghna is a painter. Just notice the use of colon after this independent clause, all the three children are involved in art. And after the use of colon, we have some clauses. So, this is the use of colon to introduce items or give information about something. Though colons are used after the independent clause, but there are some exceptions, like in the titles and headings where we want to save the space. We use colons after single words or phrases. When you use a colon, don't leave a space before it, but do leave a space after it. This is a very common mistake which I have noticed, that generally people leave a space before colon, but it should not be done that way. There should not be a space left before colon. We should put the colon just after the last letter of that sentence without leaving a space, but do leave a space after it. So dear students, in this video we have studied pause punctuations, comma, semicolon and colon. Now it's time for practice. Here are some sentences. Add commas, semicolons and colons where you find necessary. Please pause the video and note down these sentences in your notebook and then check the answers. I'm reading out these sentences for your help. Just mind where do I pause and where not. The first sentence is, Mr. and Mrs. Sharma are very wealthy. However, they live a simple life. Next sentence. There are three major agendas of this meeting: the increasing demand of the production, review of the products, and the need of the promotion. Next sentence is, if you don't like the pudding, you don't need to eat it. And the final one is, finally, we learned to use the pause punctuation marks. Dear students, just pause the video here to have more time to look at these sentences and then add punctuation marks. Here comes the answer key. Now check your answers. I hope you have done all correct. If not, don't worry. Please revise the lesson. If you have still any doubt, you can ask in the comment section or watch this video again. That will definitely help you out. Thank you for joining. Stay tuned for the next lesson. Happy learning!